if you've been contemplating if you should live in the Boise downtown area or the outskirts, make sure you guys stay tuned. We're gonna dive into all the pros and cons of living in downtown Boise and the surrounding areas. So let's talk about downtown Boise and living in downtown first. So to kick it off, I mean, as far as walkability, proximity, and just location-wise, you're literally going to be next to everything. You have Boise State University nearby, so you can go catch a football game. Whether you're trying to catch a football game or a basketball game, or even any of the other sports that they offer and that they participate in, you have all those options. Then you're also going to have so many different other things like restaurants. You're gonna have the Boise Art Museum. You're gonna have the Botanical Garden. You just have so many different options as far as what Boise downtown is going to be able to offer you. And it really just depends on your lifestyle, right? Now, as far as real estate in downtown Boise, you're gonna have lofts, you're gonna have condos, you're gonna have townhomes, and you're even gonna have historic homes that are all located in the area of downtown. So what does living in downtown look like cost-wise? Well, it does look a little more expensive. It is a little pricier, as you will be conveniently in downtown. And naturally, as you are closer to higher end attractions, or just naturally going to have more amenities next to you, it's just going to cost a little more. Whereas the outskirts may be a little more affordable as far as getting the best bang for your buck. So it really just depends on what you're looking for housing wise, right? Are you looking for a single family home with a little bit of land? If so, then maybe you're looking at North Harris Ranch, which is an absolutely stunning luxury neighborhood, which overlooks downtown, so you would be in the hills. Or you could be looking at Southeast Boise, which you're gonna have just your typical, charming homes that have plenty of lot size and plenty of options to choose from, but it really just depends on what you're looking for as a whole. Now, outside of amazing housing options and living in downtown, you're gonna have a ton of choices as far as restaurants, as far as entertainment. I know we kind of talked about Boise State being nearby, but you're also gonna have the Idaho Steelheads, or like I said, talking about the Boise State basketball game. But restaurant-wise, you're gonna have choices like Yoitomo, which is one of the most popping sushi places, probably the best sushi place I've ever had personally. And I've been to Miami, I've been to all the places where there's water, and I'm telling you, Yoitomo definitely knocks it out of the park. So not only do you have that, you have tons of Mexican restaurants, you have tons of just hole-in-the-wall spots, you have Ruth Chris, which is a very popular steakhouse. So you have all types of places that you can eat, and outside of that, man, it's just a place that you just want to live. And speaking of living in downtown Boise or even the outskirts, I do want to mention real quick, I am a licensed real estate agent here in the Boise and surrounding areas. So whatever your real estate needs are, we would absolutely love to help you with your buying journey. You're going to see my cell phone number and my email pop up on the screen. Call me, text me, or email me. Pause the video if you need to reach out to me so I can make sure to hop on a call with you and help you with anything and everything you need real estate related. Now let's dive back into the video. Now, for those of you that may not be living for the crowd, or maybe just a little less traffic, or maybe just less hustle and bustle, which, to be quite frank with you guys, I've lived in California, I've lived in Kansas, I've lived in multiple areas in my life, and to be quite honest, the hustle culture here in Boise is nothing like you would expect in California or anything like that. So when we're talking about the hustle culture, just know it's very, very subpar as far as just constantly moving and going and just constant flow of traffic. It is starting to get a little more congested as far as people relocating, because who doesn't want to live in Idaho anymore? Everyone is starting to pick up that Boise, Idaho is that spot, and so are some of the surrounding cities like Meridian, Eagle. Those are very popular cities as well. But for today's purposes, we're just going to keep it Boise oriented. So for those of you that are kind of more so, hey, I would love to live in Boise, maybe not necessarily downtown, but more so on the outskirts of downtown, where you're gonna have a ton of neighborhood choices, even if it's not Boise, in the other cities as well. But Southeast Boise is a great spot. You're gonna have tons of homes, you're gonna have tons of parks in the area, which, as far as parks and things, you do have those in downtown Boise. So you do have tons of parks and places that you could potentially go and just walk and visit. However, for those of you that are like looking for something that's less this and more maybe flat and calm and peaceful and just more feels like a neighborhood rather than downtown, then the outskirts is definitely going to make more sense for you. So what I would recommend is checking out some neighborhoods in Southeast Boise. Even the North End Boise is going to be super popular, and just finding what really works for you guys and your current situation, right? Are you looking to live maybe in a hill with a scenic view? Are you looking for waterfront properties? Are you looking to live kind of in a more foresty kind of area? So you do have the Boise National Forest here. You just have so many different choices. So really it just comes down to what is the most important for you when you're finding a place to live. Now, I will say, as far as education goes, living downtown Boise, you will be in the Boise School District, which is a great school district. There's a lot of positive reviews as far as athletics, academics, and things of that nature. And then there's also other school districts that are going to be in the surrounding areas. Depending on where you want to live, you would just want to make sure that you do your research on those school districts, or we could also help you figure out what school districts are attached to what areas of the city. All right, we had to set the camera down. My hands are freezing. You can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, we're literally blowing smoke. You know that cold air? Maybe you can't see it. Let me not look weird on camera. Now, coming back to living in the surrounding areas, I should probably mention on the north end, it's gonna be more historic. You're gonna have, you know, charming communities that are kind of based and focused on having those tree lines. So they look like a crazy, like, Hallmark movie. It's just super cool what they have as far as those homes specifically. They're gonna have a ton of like craftsman styled homes, right? So North End is really gorgeous. The highlight of North End is going to be the Hyde Park shops. You're also gonna have Camelback Park, which is a super popular park in Boise. And then you're also gonna have super close proximity to the foothill trails. So, which if you're not familiar with the Boise area, the foothill trails are one of the most popular next to the River Greenbelt. The River Greenbelt is probably hands down the best trail that people love the most. But for most people, they're also in love with the foothill trails. It just kind of depends on what's more important to you or what you like more. So I would let you guys be the judge of that. And I'm curious, if you do know what the foothill trails are and the Greenbelt trails are, which one do you prefer? Leave it in the comments. Would love to know your guys' opinion on that. Now, on the other end, you're gonna have the East End. So the East End, as far as what the homes look like there, is going to be super quiet, super family friendly, and this does have access to the Greenbelt trails and the foothill trails. So it's really nice as far as the area goes. And then as far as housing goes, you can expect to have a median price point of around $680,000 in the East End. And real quick, I forgot to mention, median price of the North End, you can expect those houses to go for around $750,000. So it really just depends between affordability, what you're looking for in the home area. And one thing I do want to put, just a pro tip real quick, is going to be that you can always change the house, but you can never change the location, right? So if you find a location that you really, really love, we always tell our clients, try to imagine where you want to be, and not so much what the house looks like now, but where you could get the home looking if it is somewhere that you just have to live, right? So just a little pro tip there. But anyways, getting back to it, some of the highlights of the East End neighborhood is Warm Springs Avenue, and then you're also going to have the Botanical Garden as well. So the Botanical Garden is just a gorgeous area that you can just go and just enjoy everything that they're currently planning. Probably wouldn't want to check it out now. Everything's probably dead-ish due to the extremely cold, blistering weather. And when I say extremely cold, blistering weather, I'm just being a crybaby, honestly. It's not that bad. It's probably about 30 degrees to 40 degrees right now. It's just the fact that there's no snow, so it just doesn't make sense why it's this cold, right? I would like a little snow if I'm gonna have to go through the cold. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird about that stuff. But coming back to it, then you're also going to have the next neighborhood, which is the bench neighborhoods. Now the bench neighborhoods, they're gonna be a lot more affordable, and then they're super diverse. They're gonna be more like mid-century homes. So if you like your older homes, this may be the area that you're personally looking in. They do have some very rare homes that do have lots that overlook Boise as well. Super gorgeous. Price point in that neighborhood is going to be around $550,000. They're extremely close to Ann Morrison Park, which is probably the most popular park as far as events and different things that they do there. And then it's also super close to the Boise Depot, which is like a train station that you can go tour and check out. It's super cool. So finally, I know I talked about this, but just to get a little more in depth with it, Southeast Boise, which is probably one of the most popular up and coming areas, they are getting ready to stop building in that area because they've reached their capacity as far as getting too close to wildlife preservatory land. So they are not building as much, but people still really love that area because it's just a very great location and it's extremely affordable when comparing it to living in downtown Boise. So what that looks like is Southeast Boise has a more suburban and modern feel. It's going to be on the border of the foothills, and they have a ton of awesome areas like the Simplot Complex Park, and then you're also going to have the Bourne Crossing, and as well as Lucky Peak Reservoir, which Lucky Peak Reservoir is definitely a hot spot during the winter. It's where everyone, or excuse me, not the winter, the summer, when you're actually able to take your boat out. But they have like a small beach kind of area, and then they have tons of waters where you can take your boat out. You can go have a great time with the family, with your friends, barbecue, all that good stuff. So people love Lucky Peak, and that neighborhood's gonna be centrally located to that. So people really love it. And then affordability wise, around $570K, if I didn't already mention that. All right guys, so some of the pros, right? Let's kind of just review what we've talked about so far. Pros of living downtown Boise is going to be convenience. Everything's a short distance away. You're going to literally be able to travel to wherever you need within 5 to 10 minutes. Now, if you're looking to travel from downtown to maybe Boise Town Mall or something like that, that may be about a 10-minute drive, but like I said, it's not too bad as far as being location-wise, centrally located in this heart of Boise. Another big pro is going to be nightlife and entertainment. I know I didn't touch base on it too much. I talked more so about restaurants because I'm hungry. But as far as nightlife goes, all the clubs, all the bars, everything that you're looking for nightlife-wise is definitely going to be here. They have a bunch of taco stands and churro stands and a bunch of food stands that are up on Friday and Saturday night for the weekend specifically, which is awesome. And then they do have some clubs. Some of the popular ones are going to be Dirty Roddy's, another one is going to be Strange Love, and then another one is going to be Karma and Amsterdam. So those are going to be like the main clubs, and the best part is there's no cost to enter those. You just go in and have a good time. And then also one thing I didn't talk about is proximity to outdoor areas. I know we talked about Lucky Peak earlier. That's going to be centrally located to Living in downtown. Then you also have some of the museums and Capitol Park and all those good things. So you're going to have a ton of activities to do within downtown as well. Now the con side of it is going to be that it is higher cost of living. And with that, your housing and all that good stuff, I know we touched base on this, is just going to be slightly more expensive than if you were to live outside of downtown Boise. Another con is going to be that there's going to be limited parking and yard space in your properties. Right now, if you can imagine, if most homes are lofts, condos, townhomes, and some residential homes, right, there's just not going to be as much space as far as yard amenities or just being able to even park. You may have assigned parking, like in parking garages, just like the one we're recording at right now. It just really depends on where you live. So those are going to be something to consider as well. Now on the outskirts side is going to be much more suburban living, which means pros for the outskirts is going to be, or the surrounding areas I should say, is going to be that it's much more suburban living. So slower pace, not as fast paced as downtown, less hustle culture, and then it's more ideal for maybe, you know, those of you that may have families looking for more space, or if you're just looking for a nice yard or you have dogs or anything, it may be more sufficient to live on the outside of downtown Boise. Another pro is going to be that you're going to have larger homes with yards, you're going to have newer builds, you're going to have different variety of price points, which could make it more affordable to live near downtown Boise and still enjoy all the amenities while not having to pay the downtown price. Cons to living on the outskirts, you may be a little further than you want to be from downtown, or potentially some of the activities and entertainment you want to be, but it's not going to be too far, so it's not necessarily a con. Another con is going to be there may not be as many established amenities in the surrounding areas depending on where you live. However, I would say for the most part, Boise is pretty established now. They are constantly building all the time, so there's always new things coming, but for the most part, you guys will be pretty happy. And that's really it, guys. So real quick, just to recap the video, it's really going to be dependent as far as where you want to live, and the best advice I can give you is to call me, reach out to me. Once again, I am a licensed real estate agent in the Boise and surrounding areas. So even if Boise isn't for you or downtown isn't for you, I can still help you outside of Boise as well. So call me, text me, or email me as you see it on the screen. Pause the video, and if you didn't already, do me the biggest favor in the world, leave me a like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the bell at the top of the screen so you can get notified when we make more amazing videos just like this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if there's something I didn't touch on that you are curious about, please feel free to leave it in the comments, or once again, you can call, text, or email me. So love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys on the next one.